Hey, Skip Squad. Episode 14 is here, and we're doing things a little differently this time. Instead of my usual one on one interview, I sat down with 5 amazing friends from the jump rope community for a group chat. We had a blast shooting the breeze about our favorite reels, funny moments, technical setups, and goals for 2025. We recorded this right between Christmas and New Year's, which felt like the perfect time to reflect on the year, share some stories, and laugh about the ups and downs of our jump rope journeys. I gotta be honest, I ran into some technical issues with the recording software, and there was a moment where I thought I'd lost the entire episode. With the help of a local videographer, Tom Thean, we were able to piece it together and get it ready to share with you. The audio quality certainly isn't perfect, but I think you'll still love the conversation. I'm so grateful to these incredible jumpers for taking the time to join me. Aaron Jumps 365, Becky Jumps Life, Laura J Jumps, Richard Head Jumps, and Stronger with Sarah. So, grab your ropes, get comfy, and join us for this special group conversation as we jump into 2025 with big goals, lots of laughs, a little swearing, and a whole lot of heart. Let's jump into it. Hey everybody, welcome to Skip Squad Chronicles. I'm so happy to have a whole bunch of friends here to talk a little bit about 2024 and what's coming up in 2025 and just have some fun. So I thought we'd kick it off by just kind of going around and saying who you are, where you are, and your Instagram handle. And I'll put that Instagram handle in the show notes for everybody as well. But yeah, who you are, where you are, your Instagram handle, and then how you got into jump rope and when. So Aaron, I'm going to start with you.
My name's Aaron. Aaron Jumps 365. I think that's my handle. Yeah, the king of the crossovers is what I call myself. Yeah. That's me.
Cool. And so when did you start jumping?
503 days ago. Or thereabouts. I mean, I did a little bit beforehand, but yeah, 503 days ago.
Yeah. Cool. Sarah, how about you?
I'm Sarah. Hiya. I'm based in England as well. Knows it, Robin Hood country. And my handle is Stronger with Sarah. I started jump rope. Will it be 5 years in February, which is mad to think about.
Wow, that is so awesome. Yeah. Cool. Richard, how about you?
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, my name is Richard. My handle is at Richard Head Jumps. I've been jumping for, let's say, 2 years and a couple months, maybe. And I got started, just like everything else awesome in my life, I did it by accident. So I just sort of came across it one day and I haven't really stopped ever since. Started, positive mental benefits, positive physical benefits. So why not keep going?
Right. And I don't know.
I'm in Seattle.
I don't know if anybody heard
that was all my required questions I answered.
I honestly didn't know if that was his real name. And so when I first saw your handle on Instagram, I was like, God dang, his parents did a number on him, but it's not his real name.
Oh no, totally. And I set out on a mission for everyone to refer to me as Dickhead, and Dizzy was the very first person that said, "Hey, good morning, Richard," to me. And I went to all the people at work and everyone, somebody's calling me Dick. You guys, it's coming true.
I'm so glad to be part of your journey, Richard. So
love
glad. It. Yeah, Becky.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, absolutely.
And on cheers, everyone start drinking.
Miss Becky, how about you? She's choking.
First time. So I hadn't even crossed my mind, but so I'm in the UK. I've probably been jumping. I think
that's awesome.
I'm coming up for 2 years this February. I think. Yeah. What's it?
Name, location, Instagram handle. You're Becky Jumps Life, right? Yeah.
Oh.
And Laura, how about you?
Thank you. I'm Laura. I'm in Vancouver Island, Canada. And I'm brand new still. About 3 months ago.
Brand new.
I just passed the 3. Yeah. I just passed the 3-month mark on Christmas, actually.
You can totally lie about that for how awesome you are.
Thank you. I got obsessed really, really quickly. So I spent a ridiculous amount of time practicing. No, and I got into it. I go to the gym regularly, and I met someone at the gym who jumps rope, and I thought it was pretty cool. So we met, and then he lent me a rope and told me to check out some videos on Instagram.
Cool. That's so cool. So was he just jumping at the gym and you saw him?
Yeah. And he's really, really good. And he was doing lots of tricks and releases, and his footwork's amazing. And I just thought it was really, really cool. So yeah, we met, and he's the one that encouraged me to start up my Instagram. And
Nice. I still have
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
run across anybody that just jumps in the park or, like anyone around here. This is a small town, but still.
Yeah, me neither.
And I've given away several jump ropes trying to inspire people, like, hey, you could jump with me too. And they're like, oh, cool. Yeah. And they jump a couple times and it just, they're not as in love as I am, I guess. Or
And that's it. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the UK people would think about that either. Like, I feel like if you handed someone in the UK
Yeah.
some rope, they would probably think you're a bit of a serial killer.
Oh,
You've done it. You're a serial killer. Serial killer.
Sarah the River. Oh my
In
God.
a penguin outfit.
How many people do you have to kill before they put cereal in
I
front of
think
your
it's
name?
Tony the Tiger,
Wow.
Count Chocula.
More than 2? I think that's fair.
It's clear I'd be a terrible killer then, because I clearly don't know.
So I'm
Yes.
curious, like, what are some of the highlights from your 2024 jump rope journey? Richard, you've been at it for a couple of years now. So if I am correct, I think you really sort of found the jump rope community this year. Okay.
No, it found me. I didn't even know it was out there, And I think my big jump rope thing this year is just, all of you guys, not to be too sappy, but, because I had, on my private Instagram and I had been posting jump rope videos for literally like over a year. And I think I started this one up just because I felt like I was annoying everybody with all my jump rope bullshit. So I was like, well, I can just post it on this one. And if all my, people, my family or whatever, they don't have to follow me. And then all of a sudden, like, here's Dizzy and here's Aaron and here's Becky. And like, just all these people are like, all of a sudden there's people, just there that want to talk about jump rope and want to listen about jump rope. It's just something
Yeah.
I hadn't found before. So I think that, yeah, just I had no idea that there was that these people are out there, and not only that they're out there, but they're actually like pretty good people that want to help and encourage and all that. So I think that's
awesome.
kind of the bottom line for 2024 for me as far as jump rope
Yeah.
goes.
I'm going to shut
Is
my
that we're all here together.
Yeah, the community is amazing. Oh, I was shutting the door because my dog is barking at something outside. And I don't know if you guys could hear it, but she's annoying me. So Aaron, how about you? You are on a mission. You said it's day 504 for you?
503 today.
503?
Yeah, so
3.
obviously I completed my 365, which were the big achievement, and then I just carried on because I'm a little bit sad. Yeah, well, next year I'm going to be doing...
Right. He needs to change his username every day.
I'm going to be doing a new 365 next year as well. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough.
That won't be a fun one.
So by that, do you mean you're like, for the people who aren't familiar with you, when you started, you made a commitment to jump for 365 days in a row, right?
Then
And so you've actually right. How do you walk? Like
yeah, I actually do like 2-hour sessions as well. I have no idea how I do it again the next day.
You must
Yeah.
have like the rock like ankles, because I did it for like 28 days in February and I had a swollen ankle by the end of it. Like I had to really rest
And
up.
that 365 calisthenics
You're-
as well as skipping, so that's going to be fun. Yeah.
So when you say calisthenics, are you setting out a certain amount of time that you're going to do each exercise?
So sort of like with the skipping, where it started out as 5-10 minutes and then comes 2 hours. The same, I would imagine, is going to happen with calisthenics as well. So it won't be much in the beginning, but then it will.
What was that?
He's going to be built like The Rock after it.
Right.
Boy, you're going to be huge of muscles. You can't do calisthenics, but I can't even say it for 2 hours, sure.
So when you say calisthenics, Aaron, for those of us who are maybe verbally challenged, what sort of things will you be doing for calisthenics? Like push-ups, sit-ups?
Body weight exercises. But then there's certain, so like obviously I've sort of fallen out of the gym a little bit with the skipping, but then obviously like there's like still the weighted squats and all that sort of stuff, which I liked in the gym. So it's like a combination of body weight stuff. Skipping helps as well as the gym.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about
But do you have some sort of plan as far as like you're going to do X amount of this one day? And because you start talking about, calisthenics in the new year. It got me super excited. So I'm curious if you have some kind of like plan, or are you just going to do push-ups on January 1st and just go from there? Or like, come on, man, what are we doing? What's the plan? Come on, coach.
There is zero plans.
You have to define calisthenics for Becky. I was saying you have to define calisthenics for Becky. Right.
I don't know what that
You
is.
look at rotate
What is
else
that?
other than your body. So squat for your body weight. You don't add anything extra. Or the kind of thing you basically just
Okay.
body's your own weight. Right? Hopefully.
Right. Okay. Very similar to what they do with children then, because children aren't supposed to overdo it, so they do exercises with their body weight.
Then they also do it in prison.
You mean the children in prison are doing calisthenics? Wow.
Correct.
So they're built and ready when they come.
Stacked. Yeah, so I do that. I have now my warm-up routine is basically like 16 minutes of jump rope specific warm-up stuff that I got from the Lauren Jumps app, that Fancy Feats app. And then the rest of the time is 13 remaining minutes are calisthenic stuff. And so I do like sit-ups and push-ups and planking, and I've got a bunch of different exercises like crunches and stuff like that. Yeah.
So good. Exercises make me so cross.
I don't.
Yeah, I just get no enjoyment out of them whatsoever. I'm just like, why am I squatting? It's just useless, and I'm rubbish at planks. My arms are so ridiculous. Like, my children put me to shame.
Do you have like Grover arms, like Grover from Sesame Street?
Like, no, they're just really little. Like, my husband always laughs about even how small my wrists are. I can't help that. That's my wrist. But my arms, they've just always been quite weak. I think I've always had stronger legs, but I genuinely just don't really like it.
So Becky's. So since we're on you, what about your 2024 highlights?
My 2024 highlights. Okay, so I would probably say I've been to 2 jump rope meets this year, and one was the jump rope coach Chris. Oh my God, I still struggle to say that. And Dope Ropes meet. And I don't know, even as an adult, a mother who you'd think is quite a worldly person, meeting that many people at different skill levels was still quite nerve-wracking. So it was really nice just to go there, and actually everybody is just as accepting in person as they are online. I didn't really get round to everybody at the Dope Rope meet because it was a lot busier than Chris's in Bristol. But I think that's the nature of where it was. Dope Ropes was in London.
Like, how many people show up,
less
Becky?
people than Birmingham.
Would it be like hundreds or tens or
No,
thousands?
numbers. Oh,
Okay.
no, I don't know.
Still a
50.
good number.
Well, yeah, I mean, that many people jump, specifically London, like that many people jumping in Hyde Park was pretty cool. And it was really cool to be part of it, because also I met Lauren Jumps that day as well. And, it's a bit of a jump rope celebrity. So, yeah, it was, and do you know what? She's just as down to earth in person as she is as she comes across on the screen. Really helpful, not at all stuck up like you expect some influencers to be.
And she's like a
cool.
British Barbie.
And jump rope wise, yeah, she's lovely. Yeah. But she doesn't even behave that way though, like she doesn't love herself. She's got time to speak to you. It's not like, look at me, I'm a pretty jump roper. And she's cool. She's really cool. So yeah, that was probably my highlight. And then I suppose working with Chris in the jump rope workshops next year. So that's really cool. But that's all kind of like down on me.
So when you say, can you say more about that you're going to be working with Chris and teaching jump rope?
Yeah, so Chris does a lot of workshops specifically for adult workshops, people that want to progress their jump rope. But he also wants to push it a lot in schools. And I think it's because it's quite a traditional skill in the UK. I don't know if it was in the US, but yeah, like it's pretty old school skipping rope. Like my mum still finds it hilarious that I've gone back to skipping. Yeah, and he wants to really push it in schools. But there's only so many places he can be at once. So he's got his own company and his own brand, and I've got no aspirations to be my own company or be my own brand, but I do love jumping rope. And even doing it with my children is just so lovely to watch them do something so simple, so basic, but still enjoy themselves. And then I just got a kick out of it. And I think it was one of his other instructors that said, oh, you do know he has a bit of a pathway. for people that want to do this. And I was like, does he? And then I got in touch with him and he was like, yeah, basically all I ask is that you go through your own gym instructing course. He said, which obviously it will just teach you the basics of body anatomy and physiology, etc.
Wow.
So you've got those skills, basic knowledge. And then he said, and then you can come and join me on
That's
workshop
super fun.
stuff. So yeah, I won't be a coach, I don't think, but a helpful
That's so cool.
instructor, which is fine by me.
Sarah, what about your 2024 highlights?
Well, I started the year off with like a sprain. So for me, my first kind of like 4 to 6 months was basically kind of like retraining the rope to be able to control it well. So my highlight was the 100 days jumping with Joy with Peter. So joined day one. I saw my friend Leah, Mama Skip. She invited me in. I was like, "What are you doing?" And that was just as my brain had just literally kind of completely knitted itself back together. And she brought me into that. That opened me up to a world of women that I'd never followed before. And oh my God, I mean, it kind of brought me to you guys as well. So massively thankful. That was a huge challenge, huge thing to do, 100 days of jumping. And it wasn't always jumping as well. It was fluid flow, all that kind of stuff. It was just nice. Just picking up a rope even for 5 minutes, even when I had COVID during it. Like Peter did, I just picked it up, just go, what? And so that was really nice. So yeah, and it was nice to be in the group and people thought I was good, which was quite cute. It kind of gave me like a little confidence boost. Everyone was like, oh my God, you're good at that. No, I'm really not. So yeah, it was that, huge thing for me this year was joining that group and joining that challenge. Kind of talking and making friends with people internationally. I don't think I really would have done that. I had my little group in the UK that came from the Chris's workshops, and I've really loved those guys, and we still meet up now and do little meetups. But that has opened me up to people internationally. They're like, "You ever come over? You can stay with me." And I'm like, "Yes, I'm going to Australia." And I'll be meeting Peter. She's coming over to the UK next year. I'm allowed to say that, but she's doing a meet.
You could probably fit her in. She's 4'11", I think. I think that's what she said. She was on a previous episode of the podcast, and what a lovely person. But yeah, she's like fun size.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be my little people.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know.
So much smaller than me.
We should call her that as well.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of her name is that she could fit in a pocket. She's a little tiny. Laura, how about 2024 for you?
Well, I guess for me, the biggest highlight was actually discovering jump rope in the first place, because it was not on my radar at all. And once I started uploading my videos on Instagram, which was pretty shortly after I had picked up the rope, I had no idea that there was going to be such an extensive community of people that did it. I didn't realize that it was such a thing. Just to be able to connect with so many people that are just as passionate about it as me is pretty darn awesome. So yeah, I think just I'm so passionate about it that it's really cool to discover something new. And it's sort of, I think it's going to take me in some other directions in my life than I was originally planning. So I think it's going to have quite an impact on my life, because I'm thinking I've got some pretty big aspirations in terms of what I want to do with it. So it's given me a lot of ideas, and it's sort of, in a way, opening a lot of new doors and
that's terrific.
Me in some new directions in my life. So I think it's really big. Yeah.
That's exciting. That's how I felt about it as well. As soon as I started doing it, and I think if anything, sometimes as an adult, you do search for that thing. Like, what is my thing? Some people are great runners, and some people just have runs in the park. Couldn't think of anything worse. I can't be doing the running. Like, no. I look at people and I'm like, why are you running? Who are you running from? That's what I worry about. But for me, that's the only reason I would run. So I was running from something. At least if I have a rope, I could just, smash someone in the face with it. We all know the handles absolutely hurt. So I feel safe. But I suddenly just felt like I'd found my thing. And then my thing turned into, my God, this is everybody else's thing. And then, getting to know people like Chris and just thinking, oh my God, I could make this more of my thing than I thought my thing was. And it's been so cool. Like, a lot of it now is down to me. Like, I'm only really going to be able to do this if I do actually put my ass into gear and do this sodding workshop that I need to pass. But I do want to do it. It's just I have children and they suck the life out of me. So just working around. I'll probably be like a 60.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
By the time I get there, I'm going to be like, I made it, Chris. I've got my walking stick and my rope. So I'm gonna try. But I love that. I love it.
Your kids are fairly young still too, hey?
Yeah, they're 5 and 7. So my 7-year-old's awesome. Like, he'll either watch me and go, "Oh, Mum's skipping again," or he'll be like, "Mum, can I grab the rope and come out with you?" Whereas my other one just looks at me like, "Mummy, why are you not talking to me?" And I'm just like, 5, 10 minutes. Come on, I could do 5 mic releases.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, they're pretty cool. I think, and that's another thing. I think it carried on because I could just go in the garden and take 10, half an hour, an hour even to myself, knowing that they were quite happy indoors. I was only in the garden. You know, I haven't had to find any way to do it. I haven't been restricted to gym classes or the gym closes in an hour or something. And I don't want to go to the gym at 11 o'clock at night. I just want to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
I'm so spoiled in that way. I don't know if you all heard the episode with Skippy Immy on it. She was unable to join us today, but she has 3 children and they all have autism. And she talked about that. And 2 of them are nonverbal. And so the fact that she can get out into the driveway and jump for a half hour is like amazing. And I love it when her youngest comes outside and like toddling around in the background doing fun stuff. He's super cute. So I'm curious, Aaron, like what is there a skill or trick or something that you learned in 2024 that you're especially happy about or especially proud of? Or something that you got better at?
2024. Not really. I suppose just doing combos and new combos and stuff, really. See, I don't, like, I'll learn a new move and then straight away I'm like, I want a new move immediately afterwards. So I'm just constantly chasing the next move.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you, like, who was I talking to the other day who was like, they focus on one skill a week, you know, like every week it was Kaylee, like each week she's like trying to learn a new trick and I'm not that disciplined. She's amazing.
That's probably why she's better than I am. Yeah. I'm like Aaron. I jump from one to the other because I'm like, oh, I've learned that bit now. But Aaron does remind me of like a jump rope contortionist. You know, like I don't really know. Every time I watch him, I could just see my eyes going like this. Like, is he actually going to get out of what he's just created? Oh, he's out. Oh, he's back in again. It's so funny.
Oh
so funny.
They're brain twister.
It's
sometimes
it's just shoulder mobility. That one. Like combos. It's easier. If I showed you how to do it, it's easier to look.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even sure that my arms move in the same way yours do.
When I met you, Aaron, it was just the speed, and you never stopped. How long were we talking for? 5 hours? 4 hours?
Mm.
You just jumping around the room. Jumping around. I was like,
yeah.
He's going to tire out. You're looking yourself, bunny.
Yeah, right.
High energy and love it.
So, Sarah, how about a skill that you either picked up or got better at this year? Or a trick?
Because I've been jumping for so long, this year I've kind of had to retrain myself following an injury. So I'm on like, I've done everything before. I say everything, not everything. Done most things before. So it was relearning the old skills that my body had kind of almost forgot because I had that 6 month block of jumping. Like my lip releases, my numbers, I love. Like I'm really happy with them because that was all I could do when I had the time off my feet. And now I'm currently having time off my feet again for something else with my thoughts, which is great. But I don't mind. So the thing that I was the most impressed with, and Aaron will be happy about this because it's something that he helped me with, getting my EVs back and both sides. So the thing I'm most proud of, the thing I'm most proud of at the moment is doing it by the law and doing both sides. So any trick I now learn, I do it both sides, which I never did before. So before my sprain, I was just like, oh, I'll just do it all on my dong side, all fine. But now I'm getting more versatile and So it's doing it by the law that Chris says, and you have to do it by both sides. So that's what I'm most proud of, is just kind of saying, okay, I've got it this side, let's do that side. Go that side, go that side. And then making sure it's versatile so I can do it both ways.
Yeah.
I agree with you there on all parts apart from the mic release. It doesn't matter what I do, can't do the mic release on the other side. Like I've spent a lot of time also like learning the EBs, and I have smashed my ears more times than I care to even remember. And my poor little ears, I'm surprised I haven't got a chunk missing from them, to the point where one day I started wearing a hat because I couldn't bring myself. I started to be scared of the pain, so I was like flinching almost out of the EB. That I almost, I don't know, looked like a worm trying to do an EB. I was like strange, or some standing up salmon doing an EB. And yeah, but I agree with you. Doing it on both sides, I think, really does help.
Don't you feel like jumping rope in general sort of helps develop both sides of your brain? Like, I feel like I'm way more ambidextrous than I used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Laura, you also had a recent injury that sort of prevented you from jumping for a while, right?
Yeah, I did. It was almost 8 weeks that I had to take off from jumping.
Oh my God, 8. I'd be so depressed.
Yeah, it was about 7 or 8 weeks. I just overtrained. When I first picked up the rope, it was like gung ho. I was doing 2-3 hours a day from nothing. So I injured my tendons in both my legs, and to the point where, it started hurting me, and it was hurting when I was jumping, but I just like, whatever, pain. And you just push through it. And then one day I woke up in the morning and I literally could not walk. The pain was so bad, and I had to, bruising and swelling in my legs. So I tore some tendons in both my legs. And so it was really deflating, obviously, and really difficult. So I just had to figure out how I was going to refocus my energy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it didn't keep you down. Like
rope. So
you did lots of rope work, right?
Not like I didn't miss a day. Yeah, I did a lot of rope work, and that sort of, I took off with the releases at that point. That's what I decided I was going to focus my energy on. And I still had that rope in my hand every single day working on those. So in a way, it was kind of, that was the silver lining of it. It was a bit of a blessing in disguise, because I remember checking it, when I was checking out people's Instagram pages when I first started, I thought the releases were, some of the coolest tricks. So yeah, I thought they looked really awesome. So it was cool to be able to focus on that for a while. And just in the last week, I'm starting to get back into some light jumping again. So I'm just going to try and be careful so I don't set myself back, because I know it's easy to re-injure those.
I totally did that when I started, just totally overjumped. And this is actually, it was about a year ago. Yeah, it was like Christmas Eve, and then Christmas, I went outside in the driveway, didn't warm up at all, and just jumped for a couple hours straight. And to the point where I couldn't jump on one leg. And, like, talk about not listening to your body, right? And then I got plantar fasciitis and couldn't walk for 6 weeks. And all I wanted to do was like dance and jump. And it sucked.
It's really hard, not just physically, but like to mentally, to not be able to.
Yeah, but you did something I didn't, keep going, and like
I literally hate
like
it.
learn all the rope stuff, the rope wrangling, which I've seen your releases, and you like, wow, you've come so far so fast. It's awesome.
Well, I was looking back through videos a couple of days ago, and November the 10th was the day I still couldn't do a basic mitt on November the 10th. So that was about 6 weeks ago. So maybe close to 7 now. So I'm always my biggest worst critic. I think we always are. And you sort of focus on where you want to be instead of how far you've come. Right. So it was really cool to look back on that video and see, okay, on November 10th, I couldn't even do a single basic mitt. So, it's been fun. I think I'll probably do maybe
That'd be cool.
maybe a release progress video or something. That's been,
It'd be, it's and you see that. I know obviously you see it, but to show other people, because then it inspires them to go, actually, if I actually just commit to it, even try a mitt a day, mick a day, or mic a day, as Aaron calls them, mics, a mick a day, like literally just try it, and then I could be there at the same point as Laura. You'd inspire so many people.
Yeah, I love those videos.
I think it's impossible. It's impossible to not get it if you put in the work every day. Like eventually it's going to click. Eventually you're going to get it. So, I think that's what it's all about.
Definitely comes. I find footwork the worst. I just really struggle with my feet. Like my head just doesn't want to. My feet just don't do what my head's thinking. I'm just like, right, let's go out and have a little shuffle. And then I'm like, okay, let's go out.
Becky, when you're trying to learn, do you try the shuffle without the rope? Like, do you get your footwork down without the rope and then add the rope? Yeah.
No, I'm too.
I know, like, I'm impatient too, but I've found that really helps. Honestly, the night before last, I was on U-Rope. I don't know if you know that brand, UROPE.US. It's Nico Jumps Rope. It's her company, and she's got a really great sale on rope. So I went on and I bought a couple ropes, and she's into dance rope, and which I love. And so I bought her dance rope course, and it's all in Spanish, but it's English subtitled. And one of her points is to learn your thing without the rope. Learn that footwork without the rope, and then add the rope. And
I know.
Yeah. I'm like you, though.
I know. But then my rope is sitting on the side, and then I'm just like, could be worse people to be faced with. But
You do it like,
yeah,
so it's not feeling lonely.
yeah,
Don't leave your rope out, but if you do it, spinning the rope at the side of you in one hand.
Yeah, so the hand swing.
Because that's how
I
I
don't really know.
timing right.
I don't know. I'll record myself one day, and you'll see how confused I look when I go out there sometimes. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing when I'm out there. I'm just like, right, okay. I'm all inspired more about the songs. Like, if I've got the right songs on, I just go for it and then edit.
But you do
something.
my mic. You do something that Laura was just mentioning, which is you've posted several videos that show the struggle of learning, like the mic release or something like that. And I do think that those videos are inspirational because it's not that it's easy, but you can edit a really nice video that is that 30 seconds of you just totally rocking it to that Jay-Z song. But people don't always see the 10 hours of crying and screaming and frustration and rope throwing that may have gone into making those 30 seconds. And so I appreciate when I see that.
No, I honestly believe that you jump for 30 minutes. I think I did one reel. You jump for 30 minutes, and actually all you get out of that is like probably 3 minutes of good stuff, maybe even 30 seconds sometimes, like I've done a whole session before where I'm just like, well, that was absolute WANK. I'm gonna go in because I've achieved 0. But then the next day it will be like the best jump rope I've ever done, and I'm like, look at me, Lauren who? No, not really. I love you, Lauren.
Well, but I mean, you have to look at that time that you're stuck as part of it too, right? Like,
yeah, but it does make me cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it for sure.
But I almost enjoy the crossness because then I know now that what will come out of it in a couple of days' time will be great.
Yeah, I thought I'd
Be okay.
self-holding. So, yeah. All right. My motto is build skills. That is, I can't remember who told it to me. Someone told it to me at one of the workshops. I don't know if it was, I can't remember, but drills build skills. So, many fails if you have, it will just build muscle memory for everything that you're doing. And makes my motto to everyone that I speak to starting the jump rope. I just go drill it, and it will build. Yeah.
I don't think I got that until I started drilling the mic release, and then because it was the last thing on one of Eddie's programs, and I was like, I'm not going to not finish this bloody program. I'm going to get this epoxy mic release. It's doing my fucking head in. And I was like, right. And I picked out the fact that I was going to do it over Easter, and I drilled it for 2 weeks, every day for 2 weeks. And then by the end of it, I was like, I've only gone and got it. And I know some people have like practiced it for months sometimes, like, and then I got it in 2 weeks because I absolutely drilled it. But you can get really cross with the drills, and it makes you clumsy sometimes because you get tired, I've found. And then also you've drilled it so much that actually you forgot what you were drilling before, and then you do have to revisit that again because you're just like, okay, now I'm just doing EBs for life. I've forgotten how to basic jump.
When you're doing those drills, are you like doing a certain amount of time, or are you?
No,
like
I go.
You're talking about drilling every day, like you just go until you're just pissed off, and then you go inside, or
yeah, that's pretty much. But,
Yeah.
Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because otherwise I don't do it for exercise. For me, I'm not there to be like, right, I'm going to do half an hour of exercise. I'm like, right, what can I crack out today? And so yeah, I just do it until I'm too tired or out of breath, or I've said the F word too many times out loud in the garden and they can't hear the music, so I'm saying it really loud. I do worry about
A funny thing about my, the drills thing, where I drilled the Mamba squeeze so much to get it into a good squeeze height where it landed perfectly round. I forgot how to Mamba. So I couldn't go past that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squeeze. I couldn't go past that 5, 6. And it's taken me a few months to get it back. So I can just go past the face where it kind of goes back into it. Honestly,
wow.
myself so many times. Oh, I've got such bad footage of it, like really bad whips. Like the ear thing that Becky was on about with the EB. My ear took all of it, even with the headphone. Yeah, didn't get past that 5, 6 of the double rotation to get back out of the squeak. It's awful. So yeah, drills do also.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can even feel talking about
Richard, how about you? What was this skill that you picked up this year
the
that
reason
you're
why.
proud of? I know you're drilling mic releases. I've seen your recent videos. 30 minutes.
I'm 30 minutes in. I got 30 minutes of sucking at mic releases mic releases under my belt. I think for me, like I just recently got my 50 doubles in a row. That was a big one.
Yeah, that was a cool reel.
For me, it was something that, and if you look back at those reels, I struggled with doing more than like 2 in a row. And then one day I got like 13 or 14, and maybe like a year after that, I just another like suddenly, I did 42. And so I was trying to get to 50. I don't know that I was like specifically setting out to try to do 50 very often, but it was always something that was just kind of in that back corner of my brain. Like, will I ever be able to do 50? And yeah, I just recently got that. So I think apart from the sappy jump rope community stuff,
It is totally.
yeah, I think the 50 doubles is pretty cool. And then also just going outside and trying a mic release one time. I think just the fact that I've now done that is a big thing, because I saw everybody else do it, and it's one of those things that, like, when I did it first, I was like, okay, it seems easy when I look at it, on paper, it should be easy. And now that I went out and tried it, I know that, yes, I'm not going to get this overnight. And so it was kind of go out there and just go like, okay, if you want to do this, it's going to be a long road to go down. So I think the fact that I went out there and just tried it once felt pretty like,
I think that's really important, because to me anyway, like the first time I saw people do mic releases, I was like, it's magic. Like, it's total magic. I don't know I would ever be able to do that. And it's taken that first step to get out there and suck at it a little while, or, although I have to say, Richard, I saw you posted a little picture that had a to-do list, like, for your workout, and one of the items was like, be dog shit at releases. And I want to ask you, like, is that positive self-talk, sir? And do you know what manifesting is?
Dude, no, actually,
okay.
Actually, it is positive self-talk, and let me explain why. And I was hoping this would come up, because I know everyone in the jump rope community is very positive and like, oh, don't get down on yourself and whatever. However, if I set the goal to go outside and be amazing at mic releases, and then I don't do it, and I don't catch it, and I don't whatever, then like I've failed at that goal. But if I set the goal to go outside and be complete dog shit at mic releases for 15 minutes, that's a much more achievable goal. And so when I set the goal to go outside and be complete dog shit at mic releases for 15 minutes, and then I go outside and I achieve that
goal, man.
Now I have achieved my goal versus setting a different. Yeah. So like my actions are the same, but my goal is different. So if Dizzy goes out and goes, oh, I'm going to catch 5 mic releases in a row, and then he doesn't, then he's going to go inside feeling defeated. Whereas I'm going to go outside and say, today I'm going to be complete dog shit at mic releases. And then I go out and I'm complete dog shit at mic releases. Guess who achieved his goal? It's me. Like I'm achieving my goal, baby. You know what I mean? So
it's stereotypical math. Like, it's just acting on your own reverse psychology.
Yep. So when I put that in my workout, like, okay, it's only day number 2. So today the day is to go out and actually, and really that's an achievement too, is like, I get really stuck because double pump boxer skip, I can do that all day long, and people will walk by and go, look how cool that guy is. Oh my God. you can hear that rope just whipping. So for me, it's like, why would I want to suck at microlith when I can do my thing I'm good at? So it's like, it's almost a hill to climb to just decide to not do that shit you're good at. And okay, now I'm going to be dog shit. I'm going to achieve the goal of being complete dog shit for the next, 15 minutes. And so that's why I labeled it like that, of like, adjust your goals, right? And then later, maybe I'll just change it to be bad at microliths.
Sure.
Or
I mean, you could set the goal, Richard, to just like practice.
take it in chunks.
Like you don't have to put a qualitative.
Maybe for the next jump, he could dress as a poo. Next jump,
Right.
he could dress as emojis, and he can be the poo emoji.
Speaking of dog shit videos, I tried to one time, I didn't post this, but I was like, okay, I'm going to go outside right before the sun goes down, and I'm going to start a time-lapse video of like me jumping until the sun goes down. But I'm out in the backyard and it's getting darker. And at some point I stepped in dog shit. And then you see me in the time lapse realize like, oh no, it's on my, like I had to stop the video and get the hose out. And my wife heard me out there, swearing, and she thought the dog was out there bothering me. And I'm like, no, the dog's inside, but I have this, just don't come out here. You know what I mean? So I think I still have that saved somewhere, but you can see me like, sun's going down.
Yeah, almost scraping her shoes on the grass. That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. And to change the subject, I also want to point out the fact that Aaron still has to explain it. Love it.
Is there a certain move that you want to be able to do? Like, I know I've seen people do things like the human flag or like a
handstand. You know what a human flag is, Becky? When you hold onto a pole. And
you'll have to.
Like when people hold on to
The human what?
a human flag.
What is it? How is it?
So you look like a
Human flag.
Flag. Oh, I thought you said flag.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. So Aaron, you're just gonna flow with the calisthenics and kind of do whatever comes.
50 goals, but I don't think I'll hit them. So, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Is one of them to be as buff as The Rock? You were going on about The Rock
A
earlier.
little backflip, but when you see someone do a backflip and a leg will straight the whole time.
What, in this human flag?
That's hilarious. My gosh.
Well, I was messaging Aaron, I don't know, this is a while back, about his calisthenics program. And I was like, oh yeah, well, maybe we can work towards learning to do a handstand. And his response was like, oh, I can do a handstand. I was like, oh.
There's a lady on Instagram I took a class from. Her name is Shelly Flex, and she is like an acrobat. And she taught this handstand class. And oh my God, it was so much fun. I had to clear out furniture in the downstairs so that I could kick up against a wall. And it was like a Zoom class where we all did handstands. I would love to continue with that, but I have not. I have plenty to do with jump rope. I'm curious, do you all have, or Becky, did I ask you what your favorite accomplishment was in 2024? Okay. All right. So I'm curious also if you've had that experience, like I've had it several times this year where I've recorded myself, I record my jumping, and then when I go back and watch the video, I see something that I didn't realize was there, like a footwork move that I did that I've seen other people do that I didn't realize I did in the moment. And I've sort of learned from that. Have you had that experience at all? No.
I have. Yeah, I've done it and I've gone, I could do that. And then I tried to redo it and I couldn't do it.
Right. Then you think about it and screw it up. Yeah.
You think about it, you procrastinate, and then I kind of go, oh no, I'm just going to give up and then carry on something else. Yeah, I've done that quite a few times actually. I don't know if you saw on my most recent story, I ended up doing a same side step through Mamba. I don't actually know even how I did it. I can do steps through releases. Sorry, so the rope goes under your leg and you step through and you release it. So you go underneath. But I did the same side. It released on the same side and then into a Mamba. And I was like, I don't need it. I have a real bad thing when I talk to my camera. I don't talk to my camera. I talk to myself. But it looks like I'm talking to the camera. So people that go past in the gym just think I'm absolutely the craziest lady in the world and they'll never come near me, which really exactly how I want it to be. Yeah, so I did the same step through Mamba, but then I ended up getting it, and I was like, how did I even do it? Excuse me.
Yeah.
How did I even do it? I couldn't even believe it.
But yeah, sometimes when I do footwork and I look at it and go, oh, that's really cool. Well done, Sarah. Try and go do it again. Not a chance.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Laura? Have you had that experience? No. Yeah.
No.
I'm also curious about the technical stuff. Like, we never really talk about your recording set or our recording setups. I've seen a few people post little reels showing. And so, like, when I started out, I was propping my iPhone up against the wall, and I was doing it so that the face of the iPhone was toward me, so it was like in selfie mode, so I could see myself. And I learned that was not the way to do it.
That's exactly how I do it. Like, explain.
For me, oftentimes I'm jumping at night, and the camera that faces you on the iPhone has a slower frame stop than the one on the front of the iPhone. So what I learned to do was I got a stand, and then I sort of position it so that I point it at the stand so I can't see myself anymore. I just kind of set it up and make sure that try to make sure that the, jump rope mat is in focus, or the limestone is in focus, or whatever. And I've totally had those times where I skip dance for like 20 minutes and then I go look at the video and I have no head, like I've not positioned the camera correctly, but the picture is so much better. Even I think on my iPhone, which is the 13 mini, I think it's like the frame stop is 1.8 versus 1.6 or something like that. And I don't know that much about photography, but the net effect is you get a better picture. So like my setup now is, I don't have it up here, but it's a little tripod that I got from Amazon that has an extendable, it's got the 3 legs that pop down, and then it's got an extendable top thing. What do you call it? But it could go up to like 6 feet high, and so I can adjust it to different sizes or whatever. For some reason, that made Becky laugh. But it was very, very helpful to me because I didn't have to just put my phone on the ground, and especially like if I'm jump dancing in the rain or snow or something, it's easier. So, what's your setup like, Aaron?
Oh, sorry, I was weird. Yeah, I just have a tripod that I set up, but I also realized that the back camera is better than the front camera. So after posting about 500 videos of me skipping the wrong way around, I told everyone I was left-handed, which no one realized. But yeah. Before that, my missus would actually stand there. I reckon for a solid 90 days, she was stood there recording me jumping rope. And obviously my sessions were pretty long, so she was stood there for a very long time.
It's very nice.
Oh, that's commitment.
Yes, right. When you were on the show earlier, Aaron, you said that when you were first trying to jump rope, that she was out there and falling on the floor laughing at you. I can't get that image out of my head. It's so fun.
Obviously, I just used to go to the gym all the time, so I was just a big guy. I couldn't even jump the rope. I didn't even actually jump off the floor properly, let alone jump the rope. So yeah, it was funny. I remember spending like 20 minutes to try and get me to jump 10 jumps in a row.
Yeah. I talked to Jenny Just Jump the other day, and in prep for her interview, I went back and looked at she's been one of my longest supporters. Like, she was one of the first persons to leave a comment on my videos. And I went back and looked at some of my first videos to see when she left her first comment. And oh my God, that was kind of humbling. It was humbling because I look back at those videos and my arms are way out like this, and I'm doing, like my jumping wasn't where it is today. Not that it's great, but my first inclination was to go, oh my God, I sucked back then. But I tried to reframe it in my head like, no, I was really trying, like I was happy. I was getting out there and I was doing it. And that showing up and, just working like has got me where I'm at, which I'm happy with. Laura, what's your recording setup like?
I don't know. I just rest my phone on the window ledge at the gym. I don't have a tripod or anything, but most like you, I used to record with the front face, and then I figured out the back one is a lot better. But
I'm gonna have to try this then, aren't I? I'm like the only one now.
Me too.
The quality of the video is way better, but therein lies the problem is you can't always tell if you're in the frame. So, and it like without fail. Right. Whenever I would be nailing the most stuff, I'd be like, yes, like I just nailed it. This is awesome. I got some great footage. I go back, I'm way out of frame. You can't see anything. So, and then, so you stop recording, you set it back up. You're like, okay, I did it once. I can do it again. And then you're on frame and you can't get a single catch. You can't get, you just bomb it, So
what does it look like if you zoom out, when you go to 0.5 or something? So
that's when I started.
Does that just make you look weird and warped?
I don't know. It depends
Sure.
on the angle and how close you are to the camera, I find.
Mm.
So now I do that. I do the 0.5. But I find it like a lot of the times if I want to change my angle and I put it on the floor and I'm on 0.5, my legs look about 3 miles long, and it looks like it's gonna hit the roof at the gym. So it's kind of awkward. But I was actually just out looking at some tripods or something the other day, and hopefully I can get myself a little bit of a better setup. And I do practice at home, and I've kind of like I've MacGyvered this area where I've got like boxes stacked and clamps and this and that. And I'm just trying to, like, I don't have anything pro going on, but I figured out a way to make it work. So
I'm very similar. I've got like what I call my War of the Worlds tripod.
Yeah.
And it's like, the ones with the weird bendy legs, and it just looks like it's going to attack everything. And because I'm not at my actual house now, I'm at my in-laws, I just prop it up on like this plastic green stool and just hope that the wind doesn't come, because otherwise my phone, literally, I've got this screen cover, but all the screen protector is like cracked. I have no idea if this actually is the screen protector or if it's really the screen. But I figured if I don't pick it off.
So is that one of those tripods that you can wrap around like a railing or something like that?
Yeah, but I have nothing to wrap it on, so it just sit there looking like it's attacking.
Yeah, there have been a couple times with my tripod thing where I've had it up at like 5 or 6 feet, and I'm jumping on one of those limestone benches, and then I bend it down a little bit so you could see the top of the bench. And it's been so windy that I'm in the middle of something and then the phone face plants, That's happened more than once. So I've been like putting my back base to kind of try and weight it down a little bit.
My tripod pulls that in the wind as well. Looked up and the tripod's on the floor. Brilliant.
The fun and games.
Yeah.
Oh my God, who uses their phone and their watch for music, by the way? Does anyone use their watch for
the phone for
recording?
Most of them.
I use the phone.
So that's actually something that I learned so I've got an iPhone. So they've changed some things in iOS, so it's better now. But at first, if I would put it in video while I was listening to Spotify, it would just put the audio on. Yeah, exactly. So the trick was you
Cut the music.
Put on photo and you press and hold the little thing and then slide over, and it'll record and it won't cut off whatever you're listening to. It is actual video, but it's in photo mode, and then you just slide the little dot over and it'll start recording video, but it doesn't take over the sound. So, but yeah.
And in the latest update, they changed it. So now you go to your settings, and I think you put one toggle on now, and
I need this. I get quite cross because I got really cross the other day. I literally tackled my husband for his watch because I put my watch on. I specifically make sure that my headphones, because I use the Beats headphones, and then my watch, and I specifically make sure I've got them on charge. But for some reason, my watch had fallen off the bedside cabinet and had discharged itself, and probably because it's had notifications all day from my phone. And I was so psyched to get out. It was my Christmas tree day, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm getting out there. I'm gonna be part of it. And I was so excited. But then I got to my watch, and my watch had not had any charge. And then I looked at my husband. I was like, "Give me your watch." He was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I need your watch right now. Have you got Step Into Christmas on your watch?" And he was like, "Have a what?" I was like, "You need to get Step Into Christmas on your watch right now. Download it. Hurry. No, you need to put it on charge because it won't download if you don't put it on charge." Honestly, there was like some 25-minute fat of trying to get outside just because I couldn't record and listen to music at the same time. And then the amount of times I've gone outside and I've gone, Step Into Christmas, and I've done like all my dancing, and I realized it's not even recording on my phone. I'm like,
I did it the other day.
As if trying to learn jump rope.
I did it the other day, and I was out jumping, and it was one of those things, like you said, Laura, where you're jumping and you're doing something that you're so proud of, and then you go back and watch the video and like you're out of the frame. I went back and I was like, it wasn't even on. How did I not turn it on? And I was so proud of the footwork. I've never done this before. It was so cool. I want to show somebody. And then it was like, womp womp. Wasn't even on. Yeah. So let's talk.
Frustrating.
Yeah. I want to talk about food. Because I love food. And Richard is I know. I can't help it.
Would you talk
Richard is our resident chef here. So here's what I'm curious about. Like, how soon before you jump will you eat? Like, or how much time do you need before you jump from your last meal or snack or whatever? And is there something special that you eat before you go jump? Richard.
I like to do it on an empty stomach. We talked a little bit about it before, but when I started jumping rope, like, I kind of changed a lot of stuff, changed the way I'm eating. And so now typically I'll get up and I'll do like water and coffee. And then like 1 o'clock will be my first meal. So, and that's just, I'm no doctor or whatever, but that's been, helping me and making me feel good. And so, yeah, typically I like to have a nice fasted stomach. And then, geez, afterwards, I mean, I'm pretty spoiled because, I go to work and we cook all kinds of good stuff there. And then my wife and I actually met in culinary school. So she does some meal prep out of the house. So I go from my job where we're cooking all this stuff and eating all this stuff. And then I come home and she's cooking more and more and more. So for me, the hardest thing for me is just to kind of
control.
Imagine trying to lose weight and boss is going, well, did you taste this? And did you taste this? And what did this taste like? And did you have some of that? And what do you do? So it's sort of my struggle to stay away from a lot of that stuff more than anything. But I mean, I guess I don't have any particular like thing that I'm gonna, whatever my wife's cooking.
Did you ever read Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain?
Sure.
One of the things I love in that book is he talks about how
of course
all good food is just butter. Like you go to a restaurant and it's butter on everything, like butter on the steaks, butter on
Yep, that's why everything at a restaurant tastes better, because it's all just cream and butter and fat and salt and sugar. That's why.
Sarah, do you have? What about you? And
I don't think so.
What's that?
Butter is like the base layer, like the necessity layer, just to make sure it's not dry and weird. Like, but I wouldn't say it's like a thing.
Yeah,
butter is like the duct tape of food.
Yeah, we're more about bread.
Interesting. Sarah, how soon before you jump do you eat? And is there anything special?
Richard, I prefer to do, if I can get in the mornings 5 a.m. jumps, then I'll do it completely fasted, and I won't eat probably until maybe 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. If I do a jump and then get ready, go to work, get the whole morning routine, get the kids to school, and then I won't eat till like 9ish, and that suits me fine. If I jump at night, if I've gone to the gym after work and stuff, it's like swimming. I do like the 45-minute to an hour rule. Otherwise, it's just not. You can just feel it coming back.
Yeah. Well, and I find too, it's like it's a motivational thing too. Like if you have a stomach full of food, you're way less likely to go out and like do your planks or do your jump rope or whatever. But on an empty stomach, you're way more likely to go out and do the thing you don't want to do.
I don't do any
that's
cardio to warm up. So I weightlift. I like train weightlift. So I weightlift before and then I do my cardio after. So if I have eaten and it's been a bit less than 45 minutes to an hour, generally that kind of where you feel like something's going to come up is like going to be when I'm doing the weights. So then by the time I jump rope, it's fine. It's kind of just already gone down and settled. So I don't really have a routine. I'm with Becky on the carbs. Like if I've had a good jump rope session, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, then I will literally be on like toast or something really stodgy like oats, porridge for breakfast. If I've had a good jump rope session in the morning, then I'm ready to carb it up afterwards.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, other than that, sometimes I have carbs when I get back from the gym as well.
Yeah.
Depending on how much I've exerted myself.
And Aaron, when we talked earlier a couple months ago, I think you were talking about eggs, like eggs. Do you have anything else that you eat, or is it all eggs all the time?
Before jumping, I don't. So obviously I tend to be at work, so I'll eat at 12 o'clock, then 8 o'clock at night. I'm literally fueled off coffee and protein. That's literally my whole life. Coffee, protein.
Yeah, I hear you. What about you, Becky? Do you have any special rules for when you eat before you jump? No.
I tend to just make sure I'm not hungry because that makes me more cross. But then I can't eat too much because then it just starts to feel a little bit icky, especially because you're jumping up and down, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm like a mixed bag of like whatever's going on here. But yeah, no,
granolas.
And I have granola issues.
Laura, but how about you?
I just love it so much. And I cross with no Greek yogurt. That
You get cross a lot, Becky. Or you report that you're cross a lot.
maybe.
I know. Now she's cross at me. Damn it,
When you say that.
Maybe I'm a little bit like Chihuahua,
Yeah.
like where you just get a bit little enough. Wow.
Laura, how about you in
Yeah.
eating?
Yeah.
Do you eat before?
Well, first things first, coffee.
Yep.
But yeah, I get my coffees in, and I've tried the fasted jumping, can't do it. I'm okay for about half an hour, but then all I can focus on is how hungry I am. So I usually do like a light carb load, like I'll have a piece of toast and a banana or something, and then off I go, like just before I head out. So I've got something in my stomach, but I'm not too full. And then I'm with Aaron on the eggs, love eggs.
I saw Always Scotty. He did a post, I think maybe it was on the Timeless or on the school app for Timeless Jump, but he suggested, or I think what he said he did was a spoonful of almond butter and honey, like a tablespoonful of almond butter and honey, like a half hour before he went out. And that gave him enough energy to kind of power through. It's like peanut butter, but made with almond.
What is almond butter?
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Like a spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, did someone ask me if I can smell it? I was like, never tried. Oh,
Yeah.
spread. I thought you said, can you smell it? I was like,
No, you can totally spread it.
right.
You can also call it.
Spread. Oh.
I'm curious. I have another weird question. Like sometimes when I record my reels and then I make a reel for Instagram, I tend to, I'm almost always dancing with the music, right? Like my reels are very coordinated with music. And so there have been times where I have put together a reel and then watched it an embarrassing number of times. And sometimes I get emotional watching the reels for different reasons. And I'm wondering if any of you have had that experience where you've put together a reel and for whatever reason, like, first of all, I want to know, like, do you watch your own reels after you make them? And if so, how often do you, or how much do you watch them? And then do they ever evoke strong emotion from you? Aaron, how about you?
I rarely ever watch myself back, to be fair. Obviously, I'll watch it when I'm editing it, and then that's about the last I'll ever look at it. Yeah.
Really?
I'll look at it in a sense of, I'll look at it before I go out and make sure that, like, so the day before, I want to be able to beat that the next day. So then I'll watch it and go, right, I did that. I need to do better today. But yeah, that's all that.
How about you, Sarah?
Like Aaron, I watch them as I'm editing, and then maybe I'll watch it again if someone points something out. Really mine are just taking the piss out of myself. Sorry, taking the mick out of myself. No pun intended. Just generally just for lightheartedness. So I don't really tend to go watching back, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I want to show my husband, because he never looks at it, he's not bothered. But if I go on, like when people force things in their faces, look at this.
Yeah. Look how cool they are.
Yeah,
that's great.
But yeah, I'm kind of like the same. I do feel emotions, like I feel like I feel really proud of stuff. Like if it is actually not a reel that's taking the mick out of myself, then yeah, if I feel proud, then I feel a bit emotional about it and laughing, crying, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't generally watch them back, like unless there's something that I want to prepare.
Sure. Richard, how about you?
I watch mine a lot. I'm kind of embarrassed about how much I go back and look at my own. I think, yeah, I want to document my progress, but I also I've said this before, I treat it like a diary kind of. And so for me, there's things that may not necessarily be spelled out in the post, but I know, like, oh, I remember that morning. I remember, whatever bullshit was on my mind or whatever thing I was worried about. And now I know how it worked out and things like that. So I watch mine a lot because of that. And also because, you're sitting there and you're on the couch and you're stoned and you're playing video games and stuff. And you look through and you go, oh, actually, I'm actually a monster. I can get out there and do that. So it's kind of a good way to, like, okay, well, if you did this yesterday, like, you're not dead yet, go out and do some more. So I look at them to kind of hype myself up a little bit and get myself up off my ass and go, do another one. But yeah, I look at mine pretty often. All the girls in the house.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'll tell you how
about you?
I am with that.
I find for me, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to putting my reels together. And my reels are generally like a lot of really small clips, piece together. So when I go to the gym, I'll record like 20 or 30 minutes worth of footage, and then I go through and, pick out the little pieces that I want to use.
Right.
So I find I watch them a lot when I'm making them and before I post them, because I want it to
Slow.
time right.
Yeah.
I just want it to sort of feel perfect. Yeah, exactly. In terms of that, yeah, like I probably watch them like 100 times before I actually post it. And then once it's posted, I just kind of leave it for the most part. In terms of, I'm really with Richard on that, in terms of looking back, and because I can remember things that happened on certain days that I posted a reel. And, contrary to what it might look like, I might have had a really, really, really difficult day that day, but I still, went out to the gym, put a smile on, got it done. And so it's cool to sort of reflect back on that. And like you said, to be able to capture moments on camera, like say your first mix, you capture that on camera, and that's something that I think is really cool, and that you could be
totally
excited and impressed when you look.
So do you ever have other emotions aside from like excitement or being proud of? I'm trying to feel better about myself, by the way, by asking this question.
I think
Right, asking for
a friend.
I think like I can in a few of my reels, I like to put all the things that I screw up, as I'm doing them too, because it's like you said, it's easy to sort of piece together something that's perfect, but really for me anyway, like 95% of my sessions is just like fail. So yeah, I think I like to sort of incorporate some of that frustration that I feel sometimes into those reels. But I generally, at least up to this point, I like to try and keep it a little bit lighter. But yeah, like I said, like sometimes I go back and I look at a reel and it'll remind me of a really tough day or something.
Sure.
And for me, that'll invoke a lot of emotion. But at the same time, you can feel proud of yourself.
I'm probably similar. For me, I probably watch mine a lot for several reasons. One being I realize how small I am. I'm only 5'2", and sometimes in the frame that I'm in, the garden looks massive, like this miniature little ant with my skipping rope. But also, I am so moved by music that it's nice to watch how much joy that 20 minutes just gave me and the freedom in my face. I love capturing the fact that I have absolutely just nailed whatever that is, even if it means I haven't done it again for months. But also, I suppose I also watch it to validate my purpose, which sounds really complex. So I'm not a very complex person, but what I mean is, like, I watch it, and there's jump rope, like any sport, any hobby, you could easily make yourself feel crap because someone is always better than you. Always. There's always someone out there that's better. Like when you buy a house, there's always a better house, but you have to compromise where you are. And then I find watching it validates my place in that little tiny circle of social media that I'm in. And I'm just like, actually, yeah, I did do that. And actually, I did that quite well. And I'm quite proud of that. But mostly I watch the group ones a lot because, very much like Laura, I take the editing to like OCD levels. Like for one, I never post anything if I'm not home on Wi-Fi because I get really cross. But it really annoys me if I know I've done that. I know I'm such a cross person. Oh my God, I need to sort my life out. But yeah, if I know I've timed that just right and I've timed everybody else just right, even like when we were doing that Halloween one, I tried really hard to make sure that everybody's releases and catches were in the right place. And oh my God, I obsess over it so much. Like, it has to be right. And if a stupid Wi-Fi signal bums me out, I'm going to get really annoyed. Let's say annoyed. But yeah, I do watch them a lot. And I think it's mainly because I know how much fun I have in that split second that I'm outside. Yeah, not because I'm based
then about the whole joy and emotions to music. You know that post that you did about the jump rope community and Indestructible with the song?
Oh my God, I love that.
I'm in the car and it was on in the car on the radio. I'm like, it like emits something out of me, and I can feel it building. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to get a rope in my hand.
I know, you need to jump, don't you?
Oh my God, it's proper. The message you actually, I forgot.
That's so
just a little bit, but yeah, I was like, God, it like something comes out of me. I'm like, right, I really need to get into that bloody mat and just jump. Oh, like, where am I going? And I've like got
So last.
to go jump so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's just something that you associate with that song, and it just something for that night. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really awesome. So yeah,
It's oh, that's really lush. And I think I posted that as well. I think because sometimes, I don't know how you guys feel, and I haven't felt it so much since having this group, but sometimes you feel like you are doing jump rope alone. My best friend jumps rope, but she's quite busy, so often we don't get together as much as we forced ourselves to when we were doing it for cancer research. But often, my husband doesn't really care about my jump rope. He doesn't know what a mic release is, and he doesn't even know why I'm so worn out or cross. But someone out there I know will, and then and then it's nice. Like, you'll just come across that one person where you're just like, oh my gosh, I've tried doing this today, and then they're like, oh my god, me too. And I'm like, great, it's not just me being stupid with this stupid rope. Like, yeah, so it was nice. I think I did feel a little bit alone at that point.
It always sort of sucks when you're so happy about like the jump rope. Like I was not joking the other day where I was talking to my stepmom about something, and she said, yeah, it all kind of looks the same to me. It's all jump rope. And it's like, no, hey, you don't understand how hard I work to like shuffle, right? She's ejected.
She's not being the group.
Yeah. Yeah, I am also very particular about the reels and putting some together. Some of them have taken me an embarrassing amount of time, and some of it is that I'm trying to time with the music, just like you said,
Yeah.
And that's important to me. But I also, Richard, watch them sometimes an embarrassing number of times. Sometimes it's, I'll watch them maybe 10 times after I make them or something. And then as I receive comments on them and then I go over to respond to the comments, then it'll start playing and then I watch it again or something. But I have had a number of times, dozens of times, I'm sure, where my own reels have made me cry. And sometimes it's crying because I'm sort of proud of that guy and where he's at, because I know where I was at a year ago, or I know where I was at, 2 years ago, mentally or physically. And I'm kind of proud of that guy, like he's getting out there and trying. And even going back and looking at some of my first reels where my jumping wasn't that special, I was trying. And so I have to not be hard on myself and go, you sucked. And it's like, no, you tried. And I think that's important to acknowledge.
Yeah. I think like Richard said with the diary type thing, like I'd probably video rope flow maybe a little bit more where I've got emotions. So there was one, I was on holiday and I remember the feeling I ended up crying on the camera. I don't think I posted that. I didn't post that one where I'm crying, but I know that happened afterwards because it was like an emotional break. And like Richard said, like in the diary, there's parts and keys, not that I might have posted, but I know that happened that day. In that kind of sense, I do have emotional aspect where I know I keep that kind of like mental diary, I suppose. Not that no one needs to know what's gone on, and that it hasn't been perfect. Yeah, that type of stuff. But I kind of keep that diary there as well, so I kind of know that, God, that day was a hard day, but I still got out, still moved a rope, I did something for me, and then I posted, a bit of joy that came out of it afterwards or before or whatever. So yeah, and I feel that there is some parts where I do get emotional in that sense as well.
Yeah, I totally have the same thing.
It's like a way to leave a bookmark in your brain, right? Like, okay, and you look at your reel and you're like, you flip to that bookmark and like you kind of revisit those emotions and revisit, like, yeah, you might have posted like, hey, I'm doing double unders and that's what this is about, but really, that's the day you got a promotion, or that's the day you got fired, or that's the day, something good happened or whatever. And like, you don't need to share that part with everybody. You can just share your little reel and your little Paul Abdul song and your little shorts and all that. But like, really, I overcame this extra thing that day or whatever it is.
Yeah, they're almost like
I might share being cross at Instagram for
deleted two favorite.
Yeah, I've lost our first Halloween reel. Meta had that big crash, and ever since that big crash, I've lost my progress reel that was pinned to my profile. which was my now and then reel, where I was galloping like a gazelle into this lovely swan ant with her rope. And I've also lost my first Halloween reel, which that really has made me quite cross, to the point where I signed up to, by the way, Instagram. I signed up to their stupid Meta Verifieds to get enhanced support. And actually all they've done is keep taking so long to reply to my case that I haven't been notified that they've replied. So then they closed the case on me. I've done this about 7 times now. So I've given up on the bloody reel. It's so annoying. Like, I was so proud of that reel, and they've got no idea how long that took me. No idea.
Do you still have that footage saved in your phone? Do you guys save all that stuff on your own, or do you just...
Yes and no, but it's not the same, is it? Because I've lost it. I've lost everyone's comments now and how everybody felt about doing that reel, and that really annoys me because that reel
that would make me so cross if that happened to me.
It's
that's
meta.
why I'm cross. Maybe that's what.
So here I have another question, which is I saw I want to say his name is Kazar. I think Half Century Carbon is his Instagram name. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I think it was him. Or
Yeah,
maybe it was Sean.
he is
It was
absolutely lush.
one of these guys posted something like, "Hey, once you get over 40, here's what I recommend for jump rope, like ibuprofen." And I thought it was sort of funny, like, but I have all sorts of things that I do to try and recover from muscle strain and pain and stuff like that. And I'm curious what you do. Like, and I'll tell you what I do. Like I have a kidney thing, so I'm not supposed to take too much ibuprofen. I take ibuprofen occasionally, but I use Tiger Balm. So I'll put Tiger Balm, like, really?
Oh my God, I have 2 lots of Tiger Balm.
Yeah. The red is fun. It kind of stains your skin, doesn't it? But yeah.
It's weird, man. Really weird. It's like strange drugs in a bottle.
It's an ancient Chinese secret.
They're literally over there.
But
So
I use that. And I also am like a geriatric. Maybe that's not nice, but
funny.
I will get a hot bath. Like I bought this house, and for 4 years, I never used a bathtub. Like I would just use the shower. And over the last year, I've used the bathtub, and then I bought Epsom salts and put them in the bathtub, and I will sit and soak my legs. I'm curious, do any of you like take any special medication or do anything special to recover from strain or injury? No.
No. Just for me, I just survive
Laura, how about you?
and go out and jump again.
Yeah, I do now, big time. Before, I didn't really do much. I would warm up a little, stretch, whatever, and that was it. Now I incorporate foam rolling. I have a lacrosse ball that I use to roll on my muscles. It's just like a little more targeted than foam rolling is. I do hot and cold therapy and a lot of stretching. And I've started doing that religiously. And I've also looked up some physio type exercises to help keep, all the muscles in your lower legs and all the tendons stronger. So I know I have to start taking better care of myself if I want to get back.
So I've got a foam roller as well, and I'm curious, how do you use it? Are you on the ground rolling it on the back of your legs, or?
Yeah, so I can, I do the front, back, and sides. So, some days I just do my lower leg. So
So are you sitting on the ground when you do that?
Back and forth on it. You can also
kind of propping.
Yeah, you're sitting on the ground, and I suppose I can always, I thought about posting a video about my recovery type work. But yeah, you're sitting on, and you've got, say, I'm going to roll my right leg. So I put my right leg on the foam roller and I cross my left leg over top.
Sure.
And then I use my hands and push my body back and forth.
It's a weird feeling I find. It's like, it's a real, like, it's so good, but so painful at the same time.
Yeah, and you can definitely pinpoint the spots that where if you've got a it hurts, like it hurts a lot.
Right.
But the more you do it,
it's like you tenderize your muscles a bit, and then it's not quite as worth. Yeah. Do you ever have that experience where you hit that spot where it almost takes your breath away? Like, yeah.
It does take. Yeah, sometimes I feel like my soul leaves my body for a minute, and then it's like. But then that's the spot, and then if you stay with that spot and then focus on deep breathing, sometimes sometimes you can actually feel that little spot release. So that's a pretty cool feeling. So it's worth it, it's painful.
So is that just part of your?
The more you do it, the less painful it becomes, right? So.
Okay. Richard, how about you?
Sorry to interrupt,
Okay.
but if I cut off, it's because I've got 10% battery. I don't have the capacity to have headphones and charger because it's a stupid iPhone.
Yeah.
Where they ditched the jack, and I don't have the jack socket.
Well,
so
Richard, do you have any special thing you do to cope with pain or strain?
I have, like we talked about in the other podcast, like the whole jump rope thing started for me out of a routine of stretches. And so I guess I don't really do anything afterwards. I just try to make sure I'm getting that stretch routine. I have like a 15-minute stretch routine that if I can do it,
is that before you jump
or something, I'm pretty happy with that. Sometimes it's just independent of the jumping. Sometimes, for me, it all depends on time because, I'm usually before work. I struggled with the plantar fasciitis before I started jumping, and I have some rollers and stuff for my heels and just trying to make sure that stuff keeps in check. But I mean, I don't really, not specifically every time. Like I just want to make sure that I stay stretched out throughout the week. And then for like a warm up, I have programmed into my phone a routine where it'll give me a 10-second rest and then 5 seconds of jump roping, and then a 10-second rest and then 10 seconds of jump roping, and then a 10-second rest and then and then I build that up until I'm doing 1 full minute of rope. And that's kind of, if I'm going to do a hard rope session, I'll usually do that. It takes about 8 minutes. So it's like 5 seconds, wait, 10 seconds, wait, 15 seconds, wait. But as far as afterwards, there's not a lot of usually just thumbing through the
exercising the fingers and the
it's my cool down routine usually.
Yeah, Aaron, how about you?
No.
Yeah, totally.
I've got nothing. No matter how many times I get injured, I still won't warm up and I still won't cool down. I'll just go in and jump.
Do you take ibuprofen or anything to like deal with pain or strain?
To the meet up with Sarah, both my wrists were swollen to the point I could barely move them, and I just carried on through the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Way to listen to your body. Yeah, Tiger Balm, I will say, it's been helpful for me.
It's amazing. I actually originally bought the white one for gnat bites in Thailand, and randomly I found the Morrisons have the red one, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting close to 40, but I think I've got arthritis in one of my index fingers. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll use this. But this is them. So you've got the little word one.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
I also use this for headaches.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I put it on my temples, and then and the red one. I don't know why the red one.
Yeah, the red one does actually kind of stain your skin a little bit.
Yeah.
I was using it during the summer, and it made my legs look a little more tan.
I know, I do like it though.
I spray it on. Just get in the shower, spray it on. No, I don't. I'm kidding.
You have a spray?
No, I just rub it on my legs. In fact, I bought like latex gloves, so I've got gloves everywhere in the house. I've got gloves in my jump bag, and then I've got Tiger Balms.
Serial killer.
I don't hurt it. Right.
Just crazy rubber gloves and rope.
No, but there have been times where I've been at the park and like my legs are so strained that I want to put on Tiger Balm, and I have to I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and then I have to like pull my pants down so that I can get to my legs. Right.
So hang on a minute, Dizzy, right? So you've gone jumping rope in a empty park on a lintel.
Lots of red flags. So many red flags.
Yeah, no, I haven't posted video of that. No, I have thought about posting video of my sort of warm-up routine because I've sort of refined it to the point where I do the same thing, and it takes, especially in wintertime, I will do it for a half hour. Like I said, those two different things twice each, and I found it really helps. Oh, look at the puppy.
Who's that? I can't see. Well,
Richard's got a puppy. She's gorgeous.
You should count yourself lucky.
because I'm currently going through that plantar this year. I'm guessing that's what it is. I'm crippled in the morning. I can't walk, and then it wears off as I go through. But like, I use a tennis ball. I don't know anything else to help with the pain under the foot. I've got my warm pull down. Yeah, it feels like
is it in your heel?
In through my felt the worst.
In your heel, right?
Hello, where's he going? He's gone.
Here,
That was a way to leave the conversation. So,
get one of these.
I'm sorry.
They look like it. They're wood, and you can roll that sore spot on your heel on there.
Got something like that too.
It was a game
It's
changer.
just like 3 wooden rollers that are textured, Becky, that you can
Yeah.
put your feet on and then.
See, I found them at Goodwill, but they were like, I actually have 2 because I had it in both feet, so I just sit there and roll my heels. That plantar fun.
It's one of the most painful things. It's
It is the worst.
like I think I've said several times I would just roll out of bed onto my hands and knees and crawl around the house because I couldn't walk.
Yeah, and it's always the worst in the morning. Like you wake up and you're like, oh, cool, I just woke up and I want to kill myself. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I found a way
So terrible.
sleeping splint now. So like a metal, like a thing that keeps my foot stretched, which is very annoying. And that when so if I want to go jump,
Oh,
that because if I don't, oh my god, the pain. It's just I can't walk. I can't even get to the bathroom. Like it's just awful. And I hobble.
So you do that regularly, Sarah? Like you sleep in that constantly?
No, only on the days that no. So not the weekend. I'll sleep on it 5 days a week.
Oh wow.
Kind of stopped over this Christmas.
That's a lot.
But it only
torture device.
3 weeks ago. It's just so painful. I don't even know how it came about. Like, I don't know. I don't know
Have you asked Chris about
why. But we didn't really have a chance to. He did tell me about the tennis ball and the massages, so I did start to do that. And I've got like the use of foam rollers. I've got a massage gun that like really knocks all the parts of like those knots. So it does the work for me instead of me having to roll around on the floor like it.
I bet that feels brutal sometimes.
Wow, brilliant. I like that's the way that's wrong. Yeah, well, I like the DOMs. Like, I don't like the triceratops pain. That's
Right.
the worst pain. Like muscle DOMs and stuff like that. I love it. It's just a weird pain. So when you get a knot, like Laura was saying, when you get it and it releases and you feel that pop, just something I really like. It's a weird association.
Yeah.
I've done a good job.
Right.
I've been a good girl. Yeah, but this plantar thing is the worst
pain, no gain?
It's worse than the spray. Worst pain.
Yeah. So you just mentioned meetups, and that was one of the things I was wondering is like, how many of you have been to a jump rope meetup or done like a collaboration with another person? I know Aaron and Sarah, you guys have done a collaboration together. And Becky, you mentioned going to a couple meetups this year. I'm sort of fascinated with these. Like, I've never been to one, but one of my goals for the year is to see if I can make it over to London or over to the UK in maybe September so that I could take part in that jump thing that Mandy's organizing, that trying to set a world record.
What?
That I interviewed her, I don't know, was she on episode 8 or something like that? But she is in the UK and she's trying to set a record in conjunction with Cancer Research UK. So
I'm part of that as well.
Yeah. He said Monday. Monday?
Yeah.
Did I not say it in a British accent? Jolly good. And Monday. But I think like the short story, well, you could go back and watch that episode with Mandy, which is a great episode, but she's trying to set a world record for the most number of people jumping at one time. And there are 2 different records that you can go for. One is requires that she get between 80 and 90,000 people skipping at the same time. It could be multi-venue, so different venues all across the UK. And yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but she's working with Cancer Research UK to organize it. And so the 80 or 90,000 people, to set that record, they have to all jump for 3 minutes. And it could be, I think, any kind of jumping. But there's another record that she could go after, which would require more like 1,000 people. And that is everybody doing like alternating foot skips. And so that's right, Aaron.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's all going to be, it doesn't have to be necessarily just in the UK, but obviously if it's away from the UK, it has to be for Cancer Research UK. But yeah, obviously there's going to be locations all across the country that everyone skips at the same time, 3 minutes, unbroken. Or I think you can have a little break in the middle. But yeah, then we need to get like hundreds of thousands of people and yeah, be a fun one.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I would love to come over and participate in that, I think it's one thing that's so cool about the UK is it feels like you have a high percentage of jumpers. And I can't help but wonder if it's not because of things like Cancer Research UK putting on these, 100 skips a day things or these different sort of fundraising events?
I would say we don't. I would say we're quite like small in comparison to other countries. I mean, for one, we don't really call it jump rope. I've adapted to call it jump rope because everyone else does. But generally in the UK, it's been known as skipping. So
there is a lot.
I don't know.
When it comes to those challenges, there's a lot of people that do it, but then after the challenge, they all lose interest pretty quickly. Me and that Mandy are in the same group. There's only
me and Mandy.
you like keep posting in there anyway, so it's hard to keep people inspired with it. Or they'll still skip, but obviously they won't record themselves skip anymore. So and boxing,
I know that I think it's
everybody does boxing skips, so that's another avenue.
Yeah, I think there's like 4 people that I've interviewed from the UK who were either exposed to jump rope through those fundraisers or sort of fell in love with jump rope as a result of taking part in like the 100 skips a day fundraisers. And I think, I just don't know of that around here.
The journey, like, I didn't even know that the charities did them, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
It's dreadful.
They send you a really crappy rope, though. Yeah. It's the worst rope ever. Like, it didn't take me long to get onto Amazon, and then it didn't take me long before I bought my first beaded rope. Yeah, I mean, I think it's maybe just because it is Cancer Research UK, it's probably pushed more. I saw mine, I think, on Facebook, and I was like, I'd not long lost one of my cousins, and I was just like, I need a bit of focus, and then I just started doing it from there, and then it kind of,
So I have kept you guys so long. This conversation has gone so quickly, or the time's gone so quickly. I'm curious, like, for 2025, do you have any special goals, or are there any things that you've got jump rope wise that you want to do in 2025? What about you?
I was really thinking then. I think for me, it's probably I guess, as you've seen from my messages in the group, I've definitely focused on quality rather than quantity. I feel the closer connection I have with somebody, the more I'm spurred on to continue or try something or get better at something or even help the next person. Instagram can suddenly feel really flooded with random people in countries I know I'm never going to meet, like Japan and stuff like that. I've literally just started filtering them all out. So I guess for me, it's just being more present with the connections I have made that are solid.
I saw online earlier a conversation where Erin was telling you about how to filter what you're looking at on Instagram by just the people that you're following.
Yeah,
that's what you do all the time, right, Erin? Like, I think you've said that you just kind of filter it that way.
It's a little bit
how you.
Right. It's a little bit easier for me because obviously I post every day, so I just scroll all the way down to my last post and then go in date order all the way up to the top, and then do it every single day.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you're filtering your feed all the time so that it's only the people that you follow, so you don't get.
So, like, I don't actually meet any new skipper unless they follow me first, or like when we join a group and I'm like, I follow all these people inside it.
Yeah, I prefer it that way though. It's a bit more organic than just your random follower. So I've got loads of jumpers that I've not even had conversations with, and often, to be honest, if I don't really know them and they haven't cropped up or we haven't had a chat, I'll scroll right past. They could do the most amazing tricks on the planet, but I would much rather tune into something Aaron's done, Didi's done, Laura's done, Sarah's done, because I'm like, oh, look at my falls, look at them go, whereas I'm just like, I don't know you, and then
I'll get cross because of these people who are trying to jump rope. Yeah.
So yes, it's definitely toning it.
Laura, how about your goals for 25?
Focusing on the present.
Well, if we want to talk specifically about jump rope goals, the thing that there's 2 things that I want to learn is I want to learn how to shuffle, and I want to nail a mamba, like to do the back and forth, catch it and
just
jump.
get close though.
The mamba, I have met my match with the mamba. It is really tricky, and I feel like I'll have a day where I can just about get it, and then the next 4 days it'll just be a disaster. So that's been a hard one. Like I've picked up on a lot of the releases fairly quickly, but that one's really giving me a run for my money. So I want to nail that, and I also want to learn how to do some footwork. I've never done dance. I've never done anything like that. I feel like I have 2 left feet, So the footwork is going to be tricky for me, but I love the look of the shuffle. I love watching
same.
it, and I'd love to learn how to do that. And then the
I
other
think
thing
you're
too
quite a
is
fast learner, though.
She's gung ho. She puts in the time. She's going out for 2 or 3 hours. Yeah.
I do practice.
Yeah, right.
It's like a day. Yeah. So I do practice a lot. Yeah. And I think just because I'm still so new, I want to connect with a lot more people in terms of the community itself. I feel like I'm starting to get to know some people and, form some relationships with some people. So I'd like those to continue to grow, not just in quantity, but in quality. Like I really like, to know a lot more people.
Sure.
So, and to get to know people better.
Dick, how about you?
Man, I love it, dude. I love it. So I think for me, like, there's not like a specific trick or whatever, but I just want to really be focused on just being smarter with my time. Like every single time when I work out, or if I jump rope or whatever, it's always okay, well, I have 2 hours and then I'll come up with, I'll program something into that app and go do it. And so I want to start looking at all of my exercise more as, instead of just, I have 2 hours to kill, I'll go out and get sweaty. I want to look at it more of like, plan it out over the course of a week or over the course of a month. And that's why when Aaron was talking about calisthenics program, I was like, oh, hey, yeah, whatever. Like I want to really get into more of a weekly routine or a monthly routine. And I started, I got myself a book to start kind of writing that stuff down. Tomorrow morning, it'll be 3 weeks in a row of getting up and doing 60 push-ups in the morning, every morning. And just more than like achieving one goal or whatever, but just trying to
strategic kind of
organize myself a little bit better, organize my time, because I got to go to work. I got 2 daughters. I got a wife. I got, so I want to make sure that, I can get it in and do that. But I think just organizing myself in a way of like, this is the plan for the week or this is the plan for the month, instead of just, I'm going to go out there and I'll come back in an hour and see what.
Becky's battery must have died. She's probably quite cross. Yeah. Sarah, how about you? Do you have any goals for 25?
I've got quite a few, so I'm just going to stick with the one that I've already said I've committed to, let's say. So Coach pushes at Frictionary Plus. I'm going to set my goal of January till my birthday, March 13th. And I'm working my whole way through that. So I've never looked at it and gone, like, tick, because there's like things that you can tick and say you've done it. So I'm working through all the challenges, which I think he said was 97 challenges, and all the tricks. I'm literally going through the whole lot and ticking it all off. I'll try and aim for 1 or 2 a day, which seems probably sort of. It's really, I really want to do. And I don't know why I've said it is my birthday, but I just want to do it before I turn 38. I'll be quite happily just to tick them all off. And I probably will get to the point where one of them's really asking for straight in. Then it might have to go to the line, but I want to work through them and just like a little the more type thing.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's one thing I've committed to, which does seem like I'm setting for failure, but I know I've got that commitment and I know I've got a drive to do it, so I'm committed to it.
Yeah.
And I've already told Chris about it. He was like, wicked.
Yeah. Aaron, did I ask you?
No, so the next year I'll just be going to be trying to get to all the meetups that are happening. Add more moves to my combos. So a lot of the moves I can already do, but obviously it's trying to get it from a cross and to a TS and all sorts of stuff like that. Then obviously the calisthenics journey, and then I'll probably add running to it maybe as well. But we'll see. Mine is all challenge based.
Why would you do that to yourself? That's so boring.
Football as well. I just got no chill. I just keep going.
Yeah. I want to. Well, actually, I had a breakthrough with releases this morning. I was jumping in the park and I injured my right calf the other day. It was kind of one of those things where I was jumping and I just felt the little muscle strand break, and I had my noise canceling headset on and yelled out the F word and then looked around to see if there was anybody there. But anyway, so it started to act up this morning. So I decided I'm going to just work on releases for a while. And normally I catch maybe 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 or something. And I got up to like 7 out of 10 this morning. And I was like, all right, I sort of got, and I think it was helpful because of that dance rope class that I bought from Nico at U-Rope. Because the way she explained them, like she does the wrist pop rather than the tissue box. I had never really heard those terms before, but my coach, he's a fan of the tissue box, but she does a little wrist pop. And one of the things that she does is she said as she was spinning around, she's kind of lifting her hand up so she gets it up a little higher. And one of the problems I've had is when I catch, oftentimes I'm catching the rope, below the handle a little bit. But I found that when I spun it up a little bit, then it was easier for me to catch it closer to the handle. But anyway, I want to get good at releases because they do look like magic. And Chris Peterson, he's out there doing releases and catching them behind his head. And Sean is the same way. Just the releases look like magic to me. So I want to get good at those. I've been focusing a lot on footwork. And then the other thing I'll say is, like you, Richard, I want to be more deliberate about my learning. I think over the course of the summer, I spent a lot of time not actually practicing specific skills, but like you said, Richard, there I had like a certain amount of time in the evening before the sun went down, and I was like, I want to go out and flow. Like I'm using this for mental health. Right.
Yeah, it's way more fun. Yeah, it's more fun to be awesome at rope than to
and sometimes I just wanted to get my heart rate up, or it wasn't all about the fun so much as just feeling better, and so I didn't concentrate on that stuff. But I was inspired when I talked to Kaylee. She's like trying a new thing each week. And so I think I'm going to try that, like at least try to work on one skill each week and suck at it like dog shit for, a little bit and work into like, oh, okay, now I can land it. Right. Yeah.
Achieve your goal of being terrible.
Well,
yeah, I find you just have to do things like 9 million times.
The drilling, I think that's it. And part of my not wanting to drill some of those things is exactly what you said, Richard. It's like, I want to go out and have fun. I want to listen to Jay-Z and get my footwork in and rather than stand there and look like a fool for, 10 or 15 minutes. But this morning I decided to look like a fool. And I guess the thing about the releases that has been tough for me is consistency and feeling when to catch, like I feel like I'm almost better at it when I don't watch, when I just feel, if that makes sense. Yeah. Sometimes like when I feel like I'm too much, then I'm thinking and processing too much. But if I can get to a point where I just feel it, then it works,
Well, I think that's what the drilling does, right? Is it gets you to a point like, where you don't have to think about it. Like I've cut onions for fucking 20 years, right? So I can cut an onion and just make visual icon and have a conversation while and people see me do that and they're like, oh my God. Well, it's like, I cut onions for 20 years. That's the secret, is just go do it for 20 years and then you'll be that good too, and people want to hear the like, oh, what's your trick? I'm like,
you put in your 10,000 hours.
I did it for my life. That's the trick. And
I wondered if we could close out we're all at sort of different stages of our jump journey. And what advice would you give somebody who's just starting out or thinking about starting out, from like what rope to use to any advice you can think of? Like, Laura, how about you?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I would give is don't overdo it. Pace yourself and really warm up well and put some time into recovery, whether it's like do a lot of stretching, warm up properly, do some foam rolling, and listen to your body. Like it's one thing to push through a little bit of discomfort, but you sort of learn as you go, when it's discomfort and when it's pain.
Right. Yeah. When you're to the point where you're only jumping on one leg because you can't.
That would probably be...
Yeah, listen to your body. Yeah, go watch Frasier. Yeah,
stop. Don't do what I did.
How about you, Sarah? What would you recommend?
Or
what's your advice? If you were going to give advice to a newcomer or somebody who's thinking about jumping, Sarah, what would you tell them?
It was me. Sorry, it keeps cutting out. My connection's gone a bit dodgy, and I'm kind of half in and out. It would be close to what Laura said about just not overdoing it. But also really invest in a good rope. Everyone says that they can start. Like I started with a PVC. Like my first 12 to 18 months was pure PVC because I only jumped inside. Didn't have anything outside. Didn't jump in the gym. I jump purely inside in a very low beam. So I had a PVC rope. I tried to think that I could do everything with that, and I couldn't when I got outside. So invest in a good rope because it makes the difference. And I know that on your podcast, you spoke about the different bead sizes and things. All of that just makes such a difference. You can take so many recommendations on ropes. It's just how it feels in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. And just make sure the rope size is right for you. Don't go too long. People go so long because they go for their arms going wider. Shorten it in, and your arms have no choice but to stay nice and clean, pocket. So yeah, just rope is a massive thing for me.
How do you size your rope, Sarah? How do you size yours?
So I'm really I measure it to my kind of just below my ribs, so kind of just near navel rib kind of weight, like in the top. I suppose the handles come all the way up into like all the way up to here, but I go to the rope where the rope is with
meets the handle. Right. Yep. Yeah. So like right here.
Yeah.
How about you, Richard? What's your advice? Don't start. Oh my God, Richard.
Don't do it. Don't start. Yeah. No, I think my advice would to be think about like why, what are your goals? Because I think, I started jumping rope because it cleared my head out. It was the quickest way from feeling like shit to feeling like, okay, I'm actually like helps me with my confidence, helps me with being able to kind of slow my brain down. And so for me, it was mostly about that. And then I found the jump rope community and I can do tricks. And so all that stuff for me is all the tricks and stuff is kind of secondary to just getting out there and getting my blood moving. But I would say, A, like you guys are saying, don't overdo it. B, focus more on, it's going to be better for you to jump rope 10 minutes every day for a week than to jump that same amount of time in one day. It'll like, you eat the elephant one bite at a time kind of thing. And then, and just goals, like why, because if you don't, I heard Aaron talk about people sign up for the cancer research thing and then they lose interest immediately afterwards because before, they had a very clear goal of like, I'm going to do whatever for the cancer research. But once that's over, they don't have a goal anymore. So if you don't have a goal, how are you going to achieve that goal? Or, if you don't just get in your car and start driving, like, where you want to end up before you start going there. So I think that's just really important. And it could be, your goal could be like, oh, I'm going to do triple unders and be amazing. And, my ass is going to look great on Instagram. Or your goal can be, just be dog shit at microleases for 15 minutes or whatever. So I don't think what your goal is important, but that you set that goal and work towards it is important. And it's going to be so insanely different for everyone, right? Like, I got to learn this trick or I got to do this. And me, I'm like, I just want to jump some ropes so I don't cry at work, or whatever. Like, just have a goal, and it doesn't matter what that goal is, but if you have a goal you're working towards, it'll help you, take that journey, I think. So I think goals are super important. And
I like that. I think there's also, like, for me, and I think I could probably speak for several of you, if not all of you, in saying that when your goal might be to get out there and learn how to do a mic release or whatever, but the benefits that you get from jumping rope are way more than you would have expected, or at least for me, like I didn't know up front, like the mental health benefits I was going to get from this, or the amount of focus I would get, or self-confidence, or the relationships I would make with wonderful people like you, like that was just never something on my radar. And it was more like, hey, I'm going to video myself so that I could see how I suck and get better. And then I started doing it, and I started like, wow, I feel better physically. I feel better. Like I have some definition in my legs that I didn't have before. I lost 3 dress sizes, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Aaron. No, go ahead.
Well, and it's, sorry. I totally forgot what I was going to say, but
I think the other thing that you sort of were hinting at is like, show up, like you make a goal and show up. Like,
well, yeah, okay. It's back now. But what I was going to say, you go out and you learn your mic release and you spend however many days doing that, and you struggle and you struggle and you struggle. And then now you know how to do that. But another thing that does is it proves to you that whether it's jump rope or whether it's a financial goal or whether it's whatever, like, you have it within you to go chip away at that thing a little bit every day until you get it.
Yeah.
And so it's a good way to prove to yourself, jump rope or not, like, hey, I can, just go struggle until I finally do it. And so, yeah, it's cool to do that stuff to jump rope. But once you, like I talked about before, you apply that shit to other things in your life, and who knows what you'll be able to do. So, I mean, and that's what I want to do and moving into this year is just, using that strategy.
Aaron, how about you?
Do a clap rate.
What advice would you give?
Straight away. No, of course. I would always say that, when people are struggling with moves and then they're just continuously struggling with it, ask someone for advice. Everyone's going to help you out. If I can do a crossover, you're going to do a crossover. No, I'm not going to stop sending you stories until you do it. And then I would also say, don't do what I do. Like, if you get injured, chill. Don't keep jumping on that injury.
Right. Yeah.
Even down to training, it's not good doing 2 hours every day. Even though I do it, it's not for everyone. So obviously you've got to set realistic goals. So if you want to skip, so if you're trying to get into skipping, just do it 3-4 times a week. Don't try to do it every day. And just like slowly build up the times. Like, everything takes time to build up. You're not going to be doing PSs on day one.
Yeah.
I hope not. If you do, then I'll quit. But yeah.
I know I fell in such deep love with jump rope that I didn't want to stop. Like, my experiences last year where I was jumping on Christmas Eve and Christmas for 2 hours in the driveway and stuff, I was having so much fun, but I injured myself to the point that I couldn't jump for, almost 2 months. And that was so frustrating. But when I get that way now, when I start to feel like, hey, I'm overdoing it here, the way I've sort of reframed it in my head is, even if I were to only jump for 10 minutes or I go out for hours too, Aaron, but even if I were only to jump for 10 minutes and maybe it's working on, maybe some of it is just flowing and maybe some of it's working on a mic release or mic release or some other trick, that 10 minutes, if I stop, my brain's going to still chew on that overnight, and when I work on it tomorrow, I will have made progress even in the off time. And that's been my experience. There have been so many times where I work on something to the point where I'm frustrated, like angry, and then I just have to stop. And then the next day I go back out and I try the same thing. And it's not like I'm great at it, but I can land it sometimes, or I'm a little bit better. And so I think that showing up, 10 minutes a day, or when I get to the point where I want to overdo it, if I can say you're still going to make progress if you chill and come back to it tomorrow, that's helped me.
Not every day does it. So if you go out and you have a bad day and then you're trying to push through your bad day, it's not going to go anywhere. You're just going to get more and more stressed out.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing is when you get into it, you sort of have to mentally prepare yourself to have days that are going to suck, like in terms of like, you're just, you don't make any catches, you keep tripping on the rope, you're not landing anything. And I think it's just part of the process. And as far as, in my experience and everybody I've talked to, that's what we all go through. And so to not don't become too discouraged, like I've had days where I'm like, okay, time to retire. I'm hanging up my rope, that when I fight with that mamba for an hour and a half straight and I haven't landed a single one for an hour and a half. And it's like, you just want to rip your hair out. But it's like you said, Dizzy, it's like you go home, you process, you come back, and there's always something that's a little bit improved.
I think so. I know one piece of advice that I've heard from several people, and I talked to Kaylee about, was not comparing yourself to other people, or not using other people as the measuring stick for your progress. Like, I know, like, Laura, you do releases so much better than I do. And if I were to judge myself based on your progress, then I'm never going to win, right? I need to be happy with where I'm at. And I think, like I said, over the course of the summer, there were a lot of times where I just didn't work on specific skills except going and flowing with footwork. I learned stuff and I stumbled upon stuff and I made progress. But when I look at some people who started after me, I wonder, should I be better than I am? Like, should I be doing better? And just getting to the point where, like, no, this is the process, and it's okay for me to go out and flow some days. It's okay for me to go out and suck some days. That's part of the process, but I'm showing up, and that's important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think
I was just going to say, it's one of the things that I taught the girls in the Jump for Joy group, that you're in your own lane. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. If you're inspired by it, great. If you find it amazing that they've done it so fast, then great, congratulate them on that. But don't judge that on your own progress, because you're always in your own lane. If you compare yourself to the day before, even if it was a crap day or a good day, just compare yourself to you, and the little point I was just going to say on what you were saying about, being really frustrated with things.
Mm-hmm.
I would end, so if there's something that I can't get, I get angry, and you probably don't see it because most of the time I'm just laughing at myself, because that's all I do is just laugh
Me too.
at my failures. But I end on something I'm good at, so then I always end on a high.
That's smart.
So I put that positive spin on a dog shit day, let's call it. So I always make sure that I'm on something, just a really nice clean snappy release, or a nice clean cross, or a nice clean CS if I could be as good as Aaron. Things like that. I just nail something right at the end, and then I just go, that's enough, thanks, and then put the rope down. So just a positive spin of a rough time.
Yeah, that's great.
Helpful.
It's great. There it is.
Yeah.
There's always tomorrow.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Slightly different angle. I do think some sort of comparison is good in a way. Like when you like see someone who's doing something better than you, then you want to aim for that. But obviously, don't think, they're that good and I'm not that good. Yeah, it's a weird way to look at it, but
I guess
my way to inspire to be as good as someone. If you
right. Yeah, I think there's a difference between being inspired and then judging yourself by. So like if my happiness with my progress is based on your jumping, I'm screwed, but if my happiness is based on how I jumped today versus how I jumped yesterday or last week or something, then I can make progress. I still look at you and I'm inspired all the time. Like the way you are a trick machine, like the cross king, like I'm inspired by that, but I'm not down on myself because I can't do all that stuff yet. I know I'm working into it, and I'm learning some of the stuff that you do. And it makes me think of you every time I do some of those moves. Hey, I'm going to be like Aaron. But my self-worth isn't tied to being like him.
that's what I will. Well, I will look at like Coach Fabian, all the crazy stuff he does. I'm like, I want to be that good.
Yeah, totally. Well, hey, you guys have spent so much time with me today, and I really appreciate it. And I love that you all were able to come out on such short notice and hang out with me. I just think the world of all of you, and I'm so thankful to have you all as friends on Instagram and to be able to talk to you. It's so fun to be able to talk like this, where it's more than just, 20 words in a comment or some emoji. So thank you so much for showing up and for being part of this. It really means a lot to me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for setting it. Thanks for having us. Thanks for setting it up. This is really great. It's my first time doing it, and it would kind of be cool to maybe try and make it a little bit more of a regular thing.
It's my time now, Lizzie. You're a bit sick of me.
No, man. I love you. It's always fun to see it. And Richard is my accountability buddy. We've been sending videos back and forth. When I've sent a video to him saying, Richard, tell me to get off my ass and go out and jump. And 10 minutes later, I get a video. Dizzy, get off your ass and jump.
Yeah, if anybody needs a profanity-laced inspiration.
Richard is so good at it. He's got that perfected. And thank you for your motivation, Richard, because it has helped me out.
Noted.
All right. Well, cheers, y'all. I hope you have a happy new year, and I'm sure I will be talking to you on Instagram.